Hello, I'm back to solve more pips after a couple of days off. Let's see how it goes. There were some tricky hard puzzles this weekend, I thought, or at least one was particularly tricky to me. Anyway, we've got a three quantity equivalence region, which looks like it'll need to be fives. So these are forced to go in this way to make the fives. We need a greater than 4, which must be a 6, and a less than 4, which must be a 1. So that's all basically demanded. And there we go. That was the easy puzzle. Let's try medium. Okay, so we have we have 3 equivalence regions of size 2, 4, and 5. So the 5 will be a 2? Yes, the 5 will have 2's in it, so we can put the double 2 up there. That must go there. And then, yeah, we can put a 2 and a 5 straddling this barrier, which means our last 2 will poke into this equivalence, which now demands a 1, so the 1 must go there. And now we need to fill the rest with 4s. Oh, no, this isn't going to work. Oh, whoops. Oh, I did the wrong thing. I sort of calculated this wrong. There are 5 2's. Yeah, there are 5 2's. Sorry, the 2's need to be in the 5-sized region. That was a complete miscalculation on my part. And then the 4 equivalence region uses 4's. Sorry about that. So we don't have a 4, 5, which means the 5 can connect to the 2's. There we go. And then there's a 2 that connects to the 4. So that will bridge those 2 large equivalence regions. And then a 4 will poke down into the 3. And we will finish off the 3 this way and finish off the 2's here. Okay, so yeah, did a bit of miscalculation at the beginning there, but it came together. Let's try the hard one. Whoa, this is an unusual looking pattern. We've got we've got 5 sets of 8 total regions. Interesting. And then we've got zeros down here. We don't have a double 0, so we can see that that's broken up between the 2. Oh, and similarly up here. Interesting. So we've got our 4 zeros that are all going to be split those ways. And this is a symmetrical grid. This is a completely symmetrical grid. Look at this. It's 180 degrees rotatable. So essentially, and there might be more than 2, but there are at least 2 ways you could fill this grid where if you rotate, one way, if you rotated it, you'd have the other way. That's really interesting. So I don't remember having seen that before in pips. Anyway, how are we going to comprise these 8 regions that poke into the zeros? We're going to need to have the zeros overlapping into these 8's. We could have 2, 6, 3, 5, or even double 4, actually. Right. Okay, I'm not really sure where to start with that. Should I just take a stab at it and just go? I'm not really sure how else to do this. So we've got a 0 in the 4. We've then got a 4 that pokes up. Oh boy, I'm not sure how to sort of think about this puzzle. There's so many different ways to fill these 8's. So one needs to bridge the 8 into the other 8. So we put a 5 and a 2 goes in, and then maybe a 6 and a 5. This is the most guessing I've ever done in one of these puzzles. I'm kind of just playing it by ear here. No, this already doesn't work. Let's try putting the 5 in the 6, and then we've got a 2 and a 5. No, this doesn't work either. Right, okay, sorry. There's probably a better way to think about this puzzle that is not the one I'm doing. So the 3 is... Sorry, I've never just sort of started taking stabs in the dark this much in pips before. So we've got a 3 in there, which means we need a 5. So 5, 2, 6, 5, 3, 4, 4, 6, 2, 0. Okay, this is working. I think this works now. Now these other ones are irrelevant. So, or rather, they're arbitrary, which goes where. That was it. Wow, that was interesting. Let me know in the comments if there was a logical way to sort of see this. There probably was. Probably sort of counting the combinations that add to 8, spanning across the dominoes. You'd sort of count those out, see how many you have to allocate. But what I mean count is count pairs that span 2 different dominoes, like a 2 and a 6, a 3 and a 5, a 4 and a 4. See how many of there are, because we know we need 5 such combinations of them to get into the eighths. And then after you do all that, you end up with, some kind of leftover domino halves that can go wherever. Yeah, didn't really solve this very logically, unfortunately, but there we go. That was the hard pips, and that was the day. Probably back tomorrow. Bye for now.